Former Patriots Pro Bowler Asante Samuel, he did not at all hold back, tweeting, Belichick is starting to show you he is an average coach without Tom Brady. Adding the sunglasses emoji maybe to soften it a little bit.
Keeping it real. Keeping it real.
Added that. Anyway, we got to come on camera for this one. Shady, I'm going to hold your thoughts for a moment because it will get spicy. Joy, I'm going to come to you first, calm, cool, and collected for now. Is Bill Belichick an average coach without Tom Brady?
Yes. But that's not an indictment of Bill Belichick. What great coach, what great NFL coach has won over a period of, let's call it 10 years, without a great quarterback to a Hall of Fame level quarterback?
Great to a Hall of Fame level quarterback.
It's not a trivia question. I just want you to think about it.
Think about it. Answer later.
Think about it. Because if you really start to look, and I have all the numbers here because I'm sure their names are going to get brought up, and I wanted to make sure I had all of the receipts. Most great coaches are associated with great quarterbacks. That's the easy way to say it.
Right.
We've never seen a dynasty like the New England Patriots over the past 2 decades. I don't want to say in sports, maybe we have. I feel like it's the greatest dynasty in sports. It's certainly the greatest in the history of the NFL. As far as the longevity of winning with different versions of teams, losing and coming back and winning. And there were 2 consistent figures within the organization. Actually, let's say 3, because Bob Kraft. Bill Belichick and Tom Brady. Now, because we had the gift of being able to play out a what if, because we talk about what ifs all the time, and we got the gift of Tom Brady going to another organization while he was still playing at a high level and winning a championship. So we can all agree to say that when we look at the New England dynasty, we would give a bigger slice of the pie to Tom Brady.
No doubt. Huge slice.
Because he was on the field, and now we've seen him do it with another organization that wasn't winning before he got there.
You preaching?
Yep.
Now, they weren't terrible. They weren't terrible. They had a lot of talent, which is part of the reason why he went there. And they had a solid coaching staff and a coach that had been in the league for a long time in Bruce Arians. It's not like he went to,
the Bucs was kind of bad.
destitute.
The Bucs was kind of bad.
They were not that bad.
They were a 500 team.
We can't rewrite history. They were not great. But there's a reason why he went to the Tampa Bay Bucs. He could choose to go somewhere, and he chose.
That's true.
And he brought some pieces with him. We can give more of the credit to Tom Brady.
Yeah, we have to.
But we do, and I do. But I can't unwatch. I can't rewrite history. And when I look at coaching, it's not as simple as, oh, X's and O's. Oh, what side of the ball did you take care of? Which Bill Belichick is a defensive coach, and we're not going to argue how great those defenses were with Tom Brady there. But do you know what else Tom Brady had throughout his legacy time in New England that he had nothing to do with?
What's that?
A fantastic offensive line and a fantastic offensive line coach in Dante Scarnecchia. We don't talk about it a lot.
Yep.
Don't talk about it a lot.
That's a good point.
All right? Yeah, no, it's solid.
She's like, yeah, that's a good point.
I thought about it. You have to look at coaching as bigger than just the X's and O's. What players do they bring in? What players do they develop? What side of the ball, if it is their side of the ball, how does that side of the ball do? What kind of other Hall of Famers came out of that time? How was the culture in the building? Did everyone buy into it? And, of course, the most important part, did it lead to success? Yes, 6 championships. So it's not that I don't think that Bill Belichick is it's not that I think he is an average coach. I have to look at the whole picture. I can't stare at this masterpiece from this far away. I have to step back. And when I step back, most coaches are associated with a great quarterback. Most great coaches are associated with a great quarterback. And there are a lot of moving pieces within an organization that a head coach is responsible for. And Bill Belichick was that guy.
2-5. I know how you feel about Belichick, but let the world know how you feel about Belichick. Is he a regular coach without Tom Brady? How regular?
Okay, well, first of all, it's not my words. His number says he's almost 500 without Tom Brady. Right? That's not me. That's just the numbers.
Below
right?
500.
I know y'all love, yeah,
below.
So I know y'all love numbers, so he's below 500.
Right. Yeah, go ahead.
The second part is you talked about developing players, right? Since Tom Brady has left, I haven't seen that one player he's developed. Defense, offense, special teams, not one. When I watched the Patriots, right? They played the Bears. The Bears is a bad football team. Pretty good defense. Quarterback that averages like 100-some yards passing, right? Very limited. I watched them get dominated. I've never seen a Patriot team get dominated. When Tom Brady was there, they never had those issues. Everybody loves to talk about how great of a coach he is. I think he's a good coach. But when I look at some of these names, right, if Tom Brady played with the Jets with Rex Ryan, right? Now everybody has their ups and down beliefs about Rex Ryan, is he good or not? But he was solid. I mean, Mark Sanchez was a quarterback, right? and Mark's on this, you know.
We don't slander Mark Sanchez.
But I mean, you know, he wasn't Tommy, and they did some good things.
They did some real good
things. So if we had
things.
Tom Brady, what would that look like? Pete Carroll, Bruce Arians, Mike Tomlin, John Harbaugh, Andy Reid. How many championships do you think that Andy Reid, the Eagles, would have had if Tom Brady's over there? Sean Payton. So I don't want to discredit Belichick. I'm going to tell you the stats. The stats is without Tom Brady, he's not even a 500 coach, and they don't do nothing. He doesn't develop anybody else. And if them other coaches had Tom Brady, it would be a different story for them coaches.
So you think those other coaches could have done just as much, if not more, with Tom Brady?
Why not? Let me ask you this real quick, because I don't want to just like beat him down so bad. I want to ask you, each of you guys, what makes him so great? Right now. What makes him so great?
He's the greatest defensive mind the game's ever seen.
Cool.
That's what I would say.
Yeah, I would agree with that as
Defense?
well. I would also add to the fact that he was responsible for the culture that Tom Brady worked in.
Not only that, but just by virtue of being there for so long, how often does the average NFL team turn its coach over? Like, unless you get lucky with a Belichick or a Peyton, you're probably talking about changing things up, and then
Or
even
the Steelers.
Or Steelers. That's a good point too. But the vast majority, you're talking about turning things over every 3 or 4 years, right?
Right.
So by the very virtue of being there for 20 years, the Patriots have a leg up in the sense that their systems and schemes and languages aren't changing. Tom Brady was working in the same offense the entire time that he was there, even with coordinators coming and going. I don't think the change was quite as drastic as it is for a lot of people. That's the benefit of winning. You don't have to change things.
So why does it look like that right now? Why does it look like this right now for the Patriots?
So to me, it looks like it because Bill Belichick's not that great a head coach. Oh, no. I don't think he's that great a head coach.
Wait.
Phenomenal defensive mind. Here's why. We talked about this pre-show. Let's talk about it post. Let me get my quick thoughts. Dave, go right to you.
Here it is.
Great head coaches are incredible forecasters. Right? Great CEOs, they understand which way the tide's moving. I was talking to a billionaire, one of the greatest minds in real estate, and he told me the second Trulia.
Can I get his number? I need it.
The second Trulia and Zillow popped up. He was like, yo, we had to change the way we navigated the real estate industry. He's like, the only difference between me and other real estate companies is I realized things were going tech savvy. So we instantly created an app. We instantly got online. We instantly figured out how to move. Pete Carroll, Andy Reid, John Harbaugh to a degree, they've moved with the times. Like John Harbaugh's had Joe Flacco and Lamar Jackson. I don't know if you can juxtapose two personalities any greater.
Yeah.
Bill Belichick, however, he has not been a great forecaster. That is, to me, why they are where they are. I would argue, Dave, that the greatest thing Bill Belichick ever did was stumble into Tom Brady because, by the grace of God, nobody took him with the first 198.
Right. See, this is I hate this. Because so much of this stuff is circumstance. John Harbaugh got Lamar Jackson at the end of the first round. He was like the fourth quarterback drafted that year. That's not a stroke of genius. That's getting lucky because he should have been a top 5 pick.
He wasn't even the Baltimore Ravens first.
He wasn't their first round pick. Thank you, Joy. Bill Belichick drafted Mac Jones. Like, he did the same thing. He played pretty well last year. He got him to the playoffs. I don't think Mac Jones is going to be Lamar Jackson by any stretch, but I have a hard time saying, like, oh, well, they got Lamar Jackson. They lucked into him at 32 overall, but Bill Belichick can't adjust because he drafted Mac Jones 15th. Like, that doesn't work for me. No, go ahead, please.
So I didn't want to say this, but you used the word, so now I have to. Wouldn't you say, I know Shady would, correct me if I'm wrong, the greatest thing Bill Belichick did in his career was get lucky by drafting Tom Brady at 199.
This is an easy one.
So how does that speak to coaching versus luck?
And every team gets lucky. Like, every good draft pick, unless you hit the ball out of the park with the first overall pick, you're getting lucky if you succeed in the draft the vast majority of the time. My thing is, and Shady, I'm glad you brought up Tomlin. Tomlin's a 500 coach without Big Ben.
I can run through all of them.
Run through them all, Joy. You got a bigger list than I do.
Actual 500.
Okay.
Literally 500. He's 20-20 and 1.
We all have massive respect for him. Never had a losing record.
He's wonderful.
But the overall point to what I brought up is great coaches don't win without great players, and particularly in this league without a great quarterback. He's a 500 coach without Big Ben. Andy Reid is actually a much higher. He's a 600 coach without Patrick Mahomes' career record. So actually, credit to Andy Reid.
He's a better coach than
Pete Carroll is a 500 coach without Russell Wilson.
Okay.
Pete Carroll. John Harbaugh is barely above 500 without Lamar Jackson and was about to be fired before Lamar Jackson got there. If we want to have a real conversation
Where's
about
Belichick?
Belichick is as well.
He's under 500.
He's under 500.
He's like 48.
Lastly, though, so my question was not would they be 500.
So is Pete Carroll.
My question
is Pete Carroll bad coach?
My question was this, since you're answering questions now. My question is, if Tom Brady played for all them coaches you just named, all them coaches you went to the list, all them names, How many championships you think them coaches would have?
I can't say that they would have 6 championships.
You can't
I can't
say that.
say
5, 4.
I can say they
maybe
would have
8.
4.
Andy Reid had like 8.
Absolutely not. There's
Andy
so
Reid had like 8.
many circumstances
Tom Brady
that happen.
is so much of the. I'm sorry, Joy. Tom Brady's so much of the difference. Andy Reid got to 4 straight NFC title games. He lost the first 3.
Okay.
Andy Reid has had plenty of playoff failures. So you think Tom Brady is just that much of a difference that he wins all of those games because of Tom Brady?
not-
Even though he had Donovan
not
McNabb, even though he's lost games
He's not
with
Tom
Patrick
Brady.
Mahomes.
He's not Tom Brady.
But I guess to Shady's point, let me ask
How about
you
the
all
fact
this.
that, again, Sean Payton, who I have a massive amount of respect for.
Another one.
Dave, let me ask you this, though. Don't you think the gap between a game is Donovan McNabb to Tom Brady? Like, don't you think Tom
Yeah, no,
Brady
there's
is
a
worth the gap?
difference. But what I'm saying is, like, all of these coaches have had chances to be successful and haven't been anywhere near as successful as Bill Belichick.
And you think so? Saying that,
and a lot of them have had great quarterbacks.
Right. So you're saying it's a gap between the coaches and Bill, right?
At least, I mean, it's at least part of it. And no, to Joy's point, I don't know how well you can even quantify that.
Yes.
When you just think about all of the factors that have worked into the Patriots' success, to say it all of it, every single bit of it boils down to Tom Brady. I can't go that far.
You say that, but soon he's going, you see what it looks like.
It's
the results.
not even been 3 years. I'm not saying
The next 5, 6 years will be like that.
You're not getting maybe.
Okay.
But it was like that for all of these great coaches. In fact, if we want to keep it a whole buck and really have the real conversation, the greatest coach of all time is Don Shula, and it's not close. He has the most wins. He has a high winning percentage without Bob Greasy, who's a Hall of Famer, and without Dan Marino, who's a Hall of Famer. Don Shula is the greatest coach of all time. We can start having the conversation after that. That's like the number. If we're talking about numbers, then and that's what we're arguing about with Bill Belichick being under 500 as a coach without Tom Brady. Let's just take Don Shula, put him at the top, and then we'll go from there. I agree with you that these other great coaches, all-time great Hall of Fame coaches, would have more wins and would have maybe more championships with Tom Brady than without. But so much factors into championships. The fact that he played in the AFC East for 18 years. Don't look at the AFC East now with Tua and Josh Allen and whatever the Jets are doing.
Nope.
That's not what he played in.
It was a joke.
I remember. It was bad. That happened. He is a defensive coach. The defenses were great, consistently great, and great when it mattered most in the Super Bowl. He put together a staff like Scarnecchia and Josh McDaniels and other great pieces throughout that dynasty. He had the confidence of the owner, the consistency to be there to today's point. I'm not saying he's the greatest coach of all time. Maybe that's unfair
That's a
because
good
we're
point.
getting
The
blinded
coaches.
by the
That's a good
championships.
point with coaches.
Peyton
But
Manning.
there's so much more that goes into being a great coach than just the X's and O's.
I gotta go.
I hate it.
No, that's a good point. I gotta go. I'm sorry, Dan.
Them coaches leave and get blown out and get fired a lot. So I don't know.
Coming up, Shady, you get to talk more.
Subscribe here to get the latest from Speak and go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.